Hello, in this video, we are going to learn how to use price function in Power BI. We already learned how to calculate the yield in our previous video. And if you haven't watched it, please check out my previous videos. Before we implement this function in Power BI, let's try to understand what this function means with some definition and also with the help of some simple example in Excel. So I am in the Microsoft documentation page and we have the definition and the syntax. Returns the price per $100 face value of a security that pays periodic interest. And this is a definition. And below we have the syntax. And it takes 7 parameter. We have the settlement, which is the security settlement date, maturity, which is the security's maturity date, rate, the security's annual coupon rate, yield, the security's annual yield, redemption, the security's redemption value per $100 face value, and frequency, number of times the coupon or interest is payment is made, and the basis, so which is an optional, which will help you to determine the day count. And return value is the price per $100 face value. So if I scroll down a bit, we have some remarks. I'm not going to go into all the details here, all the formulas. And we also have an example. I'm going to use this example and then let's try to calculate or use the price function and determine the price of a bond. Okay, let's go to Excel first and then later try to do the same thing in Power BI. Here we have all the information. So we have the settlement date or the date in which the bond was traded, maturity date, the rate, the percentage yield, redemption value, and frequency. So the settlement date or traded date, okay, so let's assume that the settlement date, we want to calculate the price of the bond because we don't have that information, right? At what price the bond was traded, but we know what is the yield. So we have all the information here, but we are missing the price, right? So to calculate the price, we have a built-in function in Excel called as price. Okay, I'm going to use this built-in function and then calculate the price of the bond. So we know the settlement date, that's Feb 15, 2008. And we also have the maturity date of the bond here, okay? And we have the interest rate as well, right here, and yield. So we already have this information, percentage yield, okay? So it's 6.50. Redemption value, this is the redemption value. And frequency, it's paid semi-annually, so I'm gonna select 2. And the basis, let's use the 0, that is US 3360. And close the parenthesis and hit enter. So this is the price at which the bond was traded or is going to be traded. Okay, 94.634. So this is how we calculate the price. So in my previous video, I already showed you how to calculate the yield. So if we have the price and the rate of interest and the redemption value, we can get back the yield. Let's use this data and then get back this yield, okay, to just to make sure we are getting the right numbers. So I'm going to use the yield function here, yield, and the settlement date. This is the settlement date. Maturity, this is the maturity date. We have it here. Rate, this is the coupon rate. Purchase price, so we calculated the price, right? So the bond price. So I'm going to use this one. Redemption value, this is the $100. Frequency, again, it's semi-annual, and basis 0. So now if I hit enter, I should be getting back this number, that is the percentage yield. Let's check out, 6.50. So I was able to calculate the yield backwards. So the way which we calculated the price of the bond is perfect. Okay, now let's try to do the same thing in Power BI. Let's go to PBI. So we have the PBI file here and we have all the information, the bond, the settlement date, maturity date, rate, percentage yield, redemption value, and frequency. Also, we know that the price of the bond and the yield is related. So when the price of the bond increases, the yield decreases and vice versa. So now we have the information. Let's try to do the same thing in Power BI. So let me add a new measure here and call this as bond price or something. Yeah, I'll call this as bond price equal to, I'm going to use the price function here. And we already have all the information in the table. So I'm going to use selected value and the settlement date. We have it here. And the second argument is maturity. That's maturity date. Selected value from maturity date. And then the next one is the rate. That is your coupon rate. Selected value. And we have the rate here. And next one is the yield. Selected value. And we know the yield here, percentage yield. And then redemption. So selected value. And we know the redemption value here. Frequency, selected value. And we have it here, right? Frequency, it's twice a year, that's semi-annual. And the basis, we are going to use 0 and hit enter. So now if I change this to percentage, sorry, a dollar symbol, and bring this to 2 decimal places. And now let me bring the bond price to this card here, 94.63. So this is how we calculate the bond price in Excel and also in Power BI using the built-in function. I hope this video was useful, and if you have any questions, please drop your note in the comment section and I'm going to revert back to you. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to share with your friends or colleagues. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.